India is facing Afghanistan at the Arun Jaitley Stadium at Delhi, and what a cracking match this is turning out to be. Hashmatullah Shahidi has played a captain's innings so far, and breaking that partnership between Shahidi and Omar Razai was absolutely crucial for Team India. A spirited Hardik Pandya find out that how to close them in. The closing stages of the game, currently it's on, looks like anyone's game, while India's batting lineup is extremely strong. Afghanistan's bowling is spearheaded by unparalleled Rashid Khan, who's not to be taken lightly, whether it's your 20 format test match or the ODIs. Well, Afghanistan is all set to make things challenging for us. We've got three eminent guests today talking about what the scores are and where we stand. Tasmeen Granga, she's the cricketer for women's team in Zimbabwe, the first 11 team. She's been playing for 15 years for Zimbabwe. Am I right, Tasmeen?
That's about right.
Dev Tyagi is a podcaster and a journalist, and Chris Mupofo, who joins us from Zoom from Bulawayo in Zimbabwe. Chris, the question is for you. Quickly tell us, what do you see of the 45 overs that have been bowled till now?
I thought it's been a very interesting match. I thought Afghanistan, the captain snob from Shahid, it was absolutely brilliant to see him coming back from the position where they were, and also Omazai, the all-rounder, I thought he batted quite well. At one stage I thought maybe they could post anything more than 270 is going to be a good score to challenge, especially with their bowling lineup. But now you see that they've crumbled to almost 235 for 7, which I feel like it might be a tough task for them to get to 270 and 280. But so far it was the first 45 overs, as you said. They've been pretty good in terms of cricket point of view.
Well, I'll come on to Tasmeen. Tasmeen, your views on how things are shaping up. Do you think the bowling is tight, or Afghanistan played really well?
To be honest with you, I think it's been definitely good. Up front, obviously, Indian bowlers struggled a bit to get their lengths right. But you can see the change, you can see the switch. They've definitely managed to come back and pull the game back to them. You can see that Kuldeep Yadav has bowled 10 overs. He's only gone for 40 runs. That's very economical. And then the same sense as well, you have guys like Hardik Pandya knocking on the door right now. And since he's found his length, he's become a lot more challenging.
Well, absolutely, he's become challenging. He's the birthday boy, by the way. He's doing everything right. Dave, on to you.
Sir.
What do you think is going right for Afghanistan today, considering that they're taking a big, it's like the David and the Goliath as we discussed yesterday?
Absolutely. I think the best thing that they would want to do at this point in time, where they find themselves 7 down for 238, is that they would want to first touch the psychologically powerful 250 milestone. But full credit to Hashmatullah for playing the captain's innings. His highest individual score in ODI cricket is 97. I was thinking the way he was going, he might have just touched his maiden three-figure mark, and what a moment that would have been. But nonetheless, 80 very strong runs, very stoic runs, and then supported beautifully by the batsman at the other end, who prior to this game had just played 14 one-day internationals.
You're talking about Azmatullah?
Azmatullah. So it was a day of Azmatullah and Hashmatullah for Afghanistan.
A little bit of tongue twister, but yes. We've got some great stats here. The good way that they've built up their game was they've had 34 singles, Hashmatullah, and Azmatullah had 22 singles. So what it shows that there were dot balls and there were no fours coming in. There were only 8 fours and 2 fours in their thing respectively, but 50% of their batting was from dot ball. Tasmeen, important question. When you bat at a crunch situation with 50% balls going as your dot balls, how do you plan and strategize and play at the other end?
I think it's definitely a key moment in the game where players have to actually dig deep and find some grit, because definitely great partnership out in the centre, almost 100 runs plus, and like you said, runs weren't coming easy, but what's important is to keep the scoreboard chipping away, keep the singles coming in, keep rotating the strike.
Absolutely.
And then you find a lot of the times bowlers are bound to try something on their own, and you find the loose ball here and there in an over to capitalise on.
Don't you get a little bogged down when the runs come very, very hard to come by?
Definitely, I think that's when it does go down, as Dev said, to a bit of mental toughness as well. It's a test of your mental ability and not just your skill alone.
Dev, important question to you. What do you think will be the final big total according to the way the things are progressing?
I think they should aim for a 270.
Yeah.
But sir, surprisingly, upon the completion of the 35th over, the way they were going at that point in time, they were saying that probably 320, 340 was quite achievable. But then I think Jasprit Bumrah really got India back into the game.
Yes.
At a time where the tongue twister duo today, they were running away.
The Tulla brothers.
So, yeah.
Yeah, go on. Chris, what happens?
Yeah.
Chris, what happens when the run rate slows down and the spinners come in and do that kind of their magic? Do you think Indian spinners were up to the task today, considering they had to let go of one of their key musketeer, one of the three musketeers that they had? They got in Shardul instead of Ashwin. Your views?
As I said yesterday, I would have wanted the same team that played against Australia. But, as a team, I'm sure they always have their own strategies. Like we said, that they felt like Afghanistan normally struggles against the seam attack. But if I was the Indian coach, or should I say selector, I would have stuck with that. But credit to the spinners that actually played today. You see Jadwe as usual, and Kuldeep, like I always tell you, Sunil, for me, he's always that one unsung hero that people don't normally, talk about a lot. But for me, whenever he comes into, Tez said it rightly, 40 runs, especially talking about these conditions lately, that's quite brilliant bowling. So, and Jadwe, I thought he did the right thing also when he came in. So, like you say, at the end of the day, Afghanistan had to dig deep and find a way of scoring runs out of those bowlers.
Absolutely. Jadwe had to come out of the way to do that. Chris, as an underdog, as someone who's contender, challenger, plays the big team, and you've been on the other side for far too long, how does the mental makeup come in? Like you throw you throw caution to the wind and just push back the big teams? Because they usually bully the smaller, lower-ranked teams. What's the scene and mind in the dressing room? Just take the fans through the entire outside.
For me, I think for me, I've lived in that era of being the smaller team or the underdog, should I say. But the best mentality to have when you play those teams, first one is to just tell yourself that you've got nothing to lose. You're actually not under pressure. The big team is actually the one that is under pressure. You just take that mental aspect of saying that you are the underdog and say, we're going in there, we're using every arsenal that we have as the underdog. So you use the arsenal that you have. For me, it's always an advantage because people are not expecting a lot out of you. And that's when you create your own miracles sometimes when it comes to these games.
Absolutely. Do you think, Chris, another thing, how many times have you hoped for miracles, especially when you're playing against Virat Kohli's team and you've played against him?
Well, I'm sure I've done that plenty plus times that I cannot count. Sometimes you just say to yourself, you've done the job that you can. Because at the end of the day, yes, he is an amazing player. Right. But at the end of the day, he's human after all. So that's what I tell myself, that, at the end of the day, he's human after all. And if I do my processes right, that can be an advantage to me. And the good part is that, if those kind of players, if they don't have those big egos, because that if you've got a big ego, that can come against you. Thank God that Virat is one of those guys that whether he's playing against a small team or a big team, the processes that he has all the time, they don't change. He does the right things all the time, which is a good thing to see.
Well, absolutely. We can go on about Virat's off-field greatness as well. But right now it's time to take a step back, look into the scores. Dave, my colleague, will have update. Dave, what's the update?
Right, sir. So 15 deliveries left to be played and the score is 253 for the loss of 7 wickets, and Rashid Khan has just hit a boundary.
Oh my God. 253. Tasmin, what are we looking at? Are we looking at 280 right now?
I definitely think at the stage, like Bobby said, a lot of underdog teams are coming in telling themselves that they literally have nothing to lose at all, because it's not your name on the line right now. Bigger teams play with the pressure of, imagine losing to Afghanistan. For example, I think that's probably how they managed to topple over Bangladesh. And if there's anything this Afghanistan team has shown, is that their tail-enders are not scared to get out there and have a swing at it.
Absolutely. Tail-enders are coming and joining the party. Chris, how many times as a tail-ender have you gone to the party and threw your bat and connected those big hits crossed the boundary line? Just be honest. It's a fan question.
I was saying I had a few punches when it comes to Test cricket. In one-day cricket, I didn't get a lot of chance to have a swing most of the time, because whenever I came in, it was a little bit one of those times where I have to do a bit of blocking for the batters to score on the other side. So but whenever I got a chance, it always felt good, getting in there without a pressure and swing as much as you can.
Well, absolutely. Do you think when you look at their scores, do you think they have the Afghanistan team has built up from 30 overs to the 41st over in the right manner, slowing down the game, but at the same time rotating important strike and not losing out on too many wickets? Your views, Chris?
I feel like at one stage, like I said, at one stage it was 225 for 4, and then it just jumped again to 235 for 7. Maybe they would have felt like they lost quite a few more wickets than they would have wanted. But at the moment, I think they've actually come back again, and we talked about them getting to 270 or 280. For me, believe me, this is a score that India, when they go into chase, they will not just say we're going to get over this score easily. It's a score that is actually competitive, considering the bowling lineup that Afghanistan has. For me, already this score is actually quite a good score that India have to chase cautiously, not just to say that they'll bully the Afghanistan, because their bowling lineup is quite good from what I see.
Very interesting point. This is a competitive total. What is the total right now? I'll go on to my colleague Dev Tyagi. Dev, what's the latest update from Arun Jaitley Stadium?
260 for 7, sir, and 2 more overs left to play. And the way they are playing Rashid Khan and Mujib, they are putting on some big hits. They are trying the level best, it seems.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. We'll talk about Jasprit Bumrah for a moment now. Incidentally, he's going to take one of the overs, the last overs. But he's already with 3 wickets in 9 overs with a very consistent bowling line. Chris, what is the line that Jasprit Bumrah bowls? Is it the good length or is it the short? Little before the good length, there is a short of a length where you pitch in and just rattle the batter. Your views?
For me, I've always respected him. Before you even talk about the length, the action that he has, I think already deceives a lot of batters. When you talk about every batter in this world, they will always tell you that he's one of the hardest bowlers to face. But the length that he hits is not one of those lengths where you can just come on the front foot and hit him over the top, and you cannot just pull him because of how he skids the ball. So he's a tricky customer. I've always had a respect that. I was just looking forward to this World Cup whenever he comes back from his injury, but he has come back strongly, and he looks much even better than from the time that I last saw him. So he's a tricky customer. He's not an easy bowler that you just get over him, and he makes it difficult every time. Even when he bowls a yorker, it's always a heavy yorker. So I've got so much respect for him.
Absolutely. Another player that who's made a comeback and people have started suddenly respecting is Kuldeep Yadav. 10 overs, 40 runs, 1 wicket with the economy of 4. Tasmeen, if you had a player like that, bowler like that, who bowled 35 dot balls and who only conceded 3 sixes, that's it, and had 58% of the dot balls, would you like to take the bowler in your team?
Definitely. See, the big thing these days is that as the version of the game gets shorter, be it 50 overs, be it 20s, a lot of batsmen look to capitalize against the spinner most of the time. So definitely, well bowled to Kuldeep all along, all this time, has managed to brought the game back and just shake things up a bit as well. So I do believe that I would put him in my side. Takes a lot of courage from a spinner to be able to go at everything and keep bowling and not take much wickets, but be able to contain a run rate, and that's what you look for in spinners.
Absolutely. When you contain the runs, you actually, the other side takes the wicket, and that's what has just happened. Afghanistan has lost another wicket. Dave, what's the update right now?
It's interesting. We were just talking about Kuldeep, and he picked up a catch of Bumrah's bowling, and Rashid Khan was sent back by Bumrah. Oh. So it's now 263 for 8 and 10 more deliveries left to play.
Final question. I'm sure Chris has given his verdict that it's a very difficult, it's a competitive total. Tasmeen, you being a cricketer, tell me what is your view on this, and then we'll take a last comment from Dave and wrap up this show.
Yeah, definitely. 270, 280 on the board is a good total. It's not the type of score you can come out and tell yourself, we're going out there to face every ball. You're looking to run almost every ball, because you will get an over where you will face a decent over from a bowler and you're not scoring much from it. So definitely I believe India will come in with a bit of caution as to how they take on the innings. Because if you lose cluster wickets as Afghanistan did, it makes it a lot harder at the tail end.
Absolutely. They've another stats that has come in right now. Ravindra Jadeja, 8 over 38 runs. No wickets, that's all right. Jasprit Bumrah has taken the 4th wicket. As Rashid goes, do you think 270 is enough for Afghanistan against India?
I would rather say that as they leave the Arun Jaitley Stadium tonight, they should do so with their head held high, because they were really in this to fight hard, and this is a fighting total, whether they put 275 or 280. They really tried out there, and let's remember that there was 3 wickets down for 63, and then came along that blossoming 121 run partnership, which really put them back into the game and then gave them a solid foundation.
Well, thank you, Dev Tyagi. Thank you, Christopher, from joining from Bulawayo, and Tasmeen, who's with us in the studio and will continue to be with us throughout the World Cup.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.